standing up, usually singing. Once he gets up to the altar, he kisses it. That kind of represents the saints before us. It's just kind of a reverence thing to them and also to Jesus. Let's see. Once he's all the way up there, we always say the Kyrie, which is the Lord have mercy stuff. You guys notice that? We have the opening prayer, and that leads us into the second part, which is the liturgy of the word. That's where you have the readers come up, which everybody gets to volunteer to do. So do that. It's a lot of fun. Lana does it every week, I think. You always have first readings from the Old Testament, okay, and then the second readings from the New Testament, and then you get into the Gospel reading, which is the words of Christ. So after that, you get into the liturgy of the Eucharist. That kind of begins with the collection, your tithes and stuff like that, send the basket around. So you're giving something to the church. In return, you move on to getting something yourself. You get the gifts are then brought to the altar. That's when the people, usually a family, come to with bread, wine, walk it up, and then the priest says a prayer, which is the most important part of the Mass, really. It's when he's turning the bread and wine to the body and blood of Christ. It's a Eucharistic prayer. I don't know the exact words of it, but he says a prayer, lifts it up, consecrated. Once it's consecrated, it becomes the body and the blood of Christ. Then you have the concluding rites, which is kind of the concluding part of it, the closing. You have a closing prayer. So I said, you go in peace to love and serve the Lord and one another. It's basically kind of the gist of it. I have a video that's going to explain it a little more in detail. I know when I first came to the church, I was really taken aback about how everything was so ordered. And there were so many steps involved. And I was really confused about it because my background is half of my family was Mormon and the other half was Catholic. So I went from very, very far ends of the spectrum. So the Mormon stuff is quite different from the Catholic stuff. After going, I really learned to enjoy all the order of everything, and everything really seemed to fit into place. It made a lot of sense to me, made a lot of sense to my family. It felt right. First time we were in there, and CJ had mentioned, wow, this really feels right how it should be. And I think that's because we get our religion from God. It's not from Bob Smith in LA who came up with something that, we'll do it this way. I mean, this came from Jesus, and that's why we do things the way we do. So, that being said, I'm going to fix the computer, and then we'll watch the video, and we have questions, and if you answer questions right, we'll prizes.